send them an email. Hey, if our proposal doesn't get finished by this date, from every day there on after, the offer will get considerably worse. This is our best offer. This is our final offer. We're done negotiating.
That's not just frustration you're hearing. That's someone watching a negotiation spiral into absurdity in real time. And what he's describing with that deadline strategy, that's exactly what the WNBA owners should have done weeks ago. Because right now, the Players Association just made their latest counteroffer, and it reveals something deeply concerning about how they're approaching these negotiations.
Let's say I bought it off Craigslist. Pretty sure I did. Let's say it was a Ninja ZX6R. Got it for $4,500 used on Craigslist. Nice. Great bike. Lovely bike. Fast bike. Let's say I wanted the bike for $2,000. Do you think the gentleman that was selling that bike would take me seriously as a buyer? If I say, I'll offer you $2,000 for the bike that you're demanding $4,500.
The motorcycle analogy is perfect because it exposes the fundamental problem with the players' negotiating strategy. On February 28th, the WNBA Players Association submitted their latest proposal. They're now asking for 26% of gross revenue, down from their previous ask of 27.5%, the league standing at 15%. And here's the thing everyone needs to understand. Moving from 30% to 27 to 26 isn't negotiating in good faith. That's still trying to buy a $50,000 car for $22,000 and acting like you're being reasonable.
Give you $3,500 for it. Now I'm really asking for $4,500, $35 solid, but we're still a little bit too far away. $4,000? You take $4,000 for it? Now what that person will say, oh, now he's serious about buying this bike. All right, $4,000, we're about $500 off. Hey, $4,250, take it, it's yours. You know what? $4,100, it's the best I got right now. Cash, here you go. You know what? $4,100's cool. Here's the bike, here's the title, here are the keys. Go home, have a good time.
Watch that progression again. The players started at 30% of gross revenue back in October 2024. They moved to 27.5% in their February 17th proposal. Now they're at 26%. Meanwhile, the owners haven't budged from 15%. And there's a crucial reason why. The league turned its first profit in 25 years during the 2024 season, 1 year. And the players are negotiating like they just delivered 5 consecutive years of growth. The owners are looking at this like, you want us to commit to revenue-sharing percentages based on a single profitable season driven almost entirely by one player's popularity?
Because these concessions, this counter-proposal, it's a waste of time at this point. The owners have to be looking at this like a waste of time at this point. Once the players get to around 20% in their counter-proposal, then maybe the owners will start to move into that 17% range. But they need to come down to 20%. They're not going to come down to 26 and then the owners go to 15, and then 25, and the owners go to 15 and a half, and then 24, then they go to 16, and they meet somewhere in the 20% range. That, I don't think is going to happen at all.
Here's what makes this particularly frustrating for anyone watching these negotiations. The players opted out of their current CBA in October 2024, and they did it with a hype video, not a professional statement, not a measured press release, a hype video, like they were announcing a playoff run. That set the tone for everything that followed. They've been negotiating for 16 months now, and they're still nowhere close to a realistic number. The league set a deadline of March 10th for a deal to be completed, or the season would be at risk of delay. That's 11 days away as of this recording, and the players just moved their ask from 27.5 to 26%. They genuinely seem to believe that's a meaningful concession.
Maybe if they would have moved off of that 30% down to 26% back in November, back in October, maybe then we'd be making some progress. But to do it in the 11th hour, we're just wasting time here. WNBPA asks in this offer 26% gross revenue share over the life of the deal and $9.45 million salary cap in 2026. The previous WNBA offer 15% gross revenue share over the life of the deal and a $5.65 million cap in 2026. Does it look like the players even try to come closer?
Let's break down what's actually on the table right now, because the numbers tell the whole story. The players are proposing a $9.45 million salary cap for 2026. The league's offering $5.65 million. That's not a gap you bridge with minor adjustments. That's a philosophical chasm about what this league is actually worth right now. And here's the part that should terrify the players. The league's 15% offer includes revenue sharing for the first time in WNBA history. The players have never had that before. So the owners are saying, look, we'll give you a piece of the growth moving forward. We'll tie your compensation to the league's success, but you need to prove the success is sustainable first. The players are responding with, no, we want 26% of gross revenue immediately, based on one profitable year. Do you see the problem? The owners are offering something unprecedented, and the players are treating it like it's an insult because the percentage isn't high enough.
If you say, deal's not done by March 10th, March 11th, well, now we're at 14%. March 20th, well, now we're all the way down to 11.5% of team revenue. Let's get into some reactions because I actually enjoy seeing people be frustrated and fed up with this. Lets me know that people are waking up. Correct me if I am wrong, but WNBA offered 15% net revenue. Players Association is not negotiating in good faith. No business sense. You cannot ask for gross revenue. LMAO, unserious. Maybe the WNBA will submit a proposal every day until March 10th.
This point right here is critical, and it's something the Players Association seems to be completely ignoring. If the business improves year over year, that 15% becomes significantly more valuable. Let's say the league grows by 20% in 2026. That revenue share suddenly translates to an extra $80,000 per player as a bonus. Another 20% growth in 2027? Now you're looking at potentially six figures in additional compensation beyond base salary. But here's the risk the players aren't considering. What if it doesn't grow? What if the ratings decline? What if attendance drops because fans are exhausted by this whole negotiation circus? What if Caitlin Clark gets injured and suddenly the casual viewers disappear? The owners have to plan for that possibility. The players are negotiating like growth is guaranteed. It's not.
Before retiring, jeopardizing the careers of all the other players that we actually want to watch. The Players Association is negotiating in good faith. The league got to step up and stop this nonsense. I don't see any good faith coming from the Players Association. If folks, no man. If we really think going from 30% to 27% to 26% is good faith, I don't know what to tell you.
Look at those reactions from fans who are actually paying attention to the details. These aren't casual observers. These are people who understand business fundamentals. And they're all saying the same thing. The Players Association is negotiating like amateurs. Someone pointed out that the maximum seating capacity for the Washington Mystics is 4,200. The Atlanta Dream, 3,500, 22 home games per team. And the players want a $9.5 million salary cap? The math doesn't even come close to working. You can't generate that kind of revenue from those venues with current ticket prices and attendance levels. Another commenter nailed it. The players should take this deal now, prove the growth is real over the next 3 years, and then ask for the big increase when the next negotiation cycle comes around. That's how you build leverage. You don't overplay your hand at the first sign of hope. You prove the concept first.
You're asking to buy a $50,000 car for $20,000. That's not good faith. The seller of that car says, no, $20,000, you're joking. $21,000. No, no. I don't know how we some of us interpret these things. I don't know. Not over here. We're smart over here. Shout out to all you guys that support. But I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, 2026 season is cooked. Ridiculous. The WNBA don't even own their own league. Yep, that's part of it as well. If they own more than 42%, then I'm sure these numbers would look a little bit better. League needs to give a deadline by saying the deals only get worse from here. 26% ain't happening. I feel the league has already given their best deal. Absolutely, I would. Absolutely. Max seating capacity for Washington Mystics, 4,200. Atlanta Dream, 3,500. 22 home games. You want $9.5 million salary? Are y'all kidding me? Out to lunch. Gotta ride the momentum and grow the game first before this can happen. The Players Association needs new leadership. Great point. If business is improving, you take this deal now, and then 3 years down the road when we renegotiate, when we go over these numbers again, that's when you ask for the 9. That's when you ask for the big enchilada. You don't do it at the first sign of hope. At the first sign of hope, you overextend and you overplay your hand. You don't do that. You got to slow play it until you really have proof of concept. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Like the video and subscribe.
So let's talk about what should happen next, because the current trajectory leads nowhere good for anyone involved. The owners need to implement exactly what was described in that opening clip. Set a hard deadline with consequences. Not just the season might be delayed, real consequences. March 10th deadline? Fine. But add this. For every day after March 10th that passes without an agreement, the revenue share percentage drops by half a point. 15% becomes 14.5 on March 11th, 14% on March 12th, 13.5 on March 13th. Watch how fast the players get serious about negotiating, because right now, there's no real pressure. The players opted out with a hype video. They've been making unrealistic demands for 16 months. They're treating this like a PR campaign instead of a business negotiation. And the owners have been too patient. Frankly, they keep extending deadlines. They keep entertaining proposals that aren't even in the same universe as reality. The players need new leadership. That's not an attack. That's an observation based on results. If you've been negotiating for 16 months and you're still asking for 26% when the offer is 15%, your leadership has failed to prepare you for how these negotiations actually work. They've failed to explain that the NBA players didn't get 50% of revenue overnight. They built to that over decades of proven growth and profitability. The WNBA just turned its first profit in 25 years. The players want to be compensated like they're in a mature, established league with consistent profitability. They're not. Not yet. Maybe they will be in 5 years. Maybe 10. But you don't get paid for potential. You get paid for results. And here's what's particularly frustrating. The league's offer is actually generous, given the circumstances. 15% of gross revenue with revenue sharing is a significant commitment from ownership. It's a bet on the future. It's the owners saying, we believe this growth is real, and we're willing to tie your compensation to it. But we're not going to bankrupt the league based on one good year. The players should be celebrating that offer. Instead, they're treating it like an insult. They're acting like the owners are trying to exploit them, when in reality, the owners are offering something unprecedented in WNBA history, and the players are responding with demands that would likely sink franchises in smaller markets. Think about the Washington Mystics trying to operate with a $9.45 million salary cap when their arena holds 4,200 people. Think about the Atlanta Dream in the same situation with 3,500 seats. The economics don't work. Even if you sell out every game at premium prices, you're not generating enough revenue to sustain that payroll plus operations, travel, coaching staff, medical staff, facilities, marketing. The players need to understand something fundamental. The owners don't have to agree to any of this. They could lock the players out. They could cancel the season. They could wait until the players run out of money and come back with a more realistic proposal. The owners have leverage here. The players are acting like they hold all the cards because of one successful season. They don't. So here's my question for you. Should the owners implement that declining offer strategy? Should they tell the players, this is our final offer, 15%, and for every day you delay, it drops by half a point? Because at this rate, we might not have a 2025 season, and that would be a disaster for everyone involved, especially the young players who had nothing to do with these unrealistic demands but will lose a year of their careers because the veterans wanted to cash out before retiring. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should the owners play hardball? Or should they keep extending deadlines and hoping the players eventually get realistic? And if you want more coverage of these negotiations as they develop, hit that subscribe button because this situation is far from over.